Welcome back to Layback with Betfair. We are now joined by 309-game superstar of the NRL, Andrew McCullough. Talk about all things State of Origin. I'm going to dissect his State of Origin career as well. Andrew, how are you, mate?
Yeah, g'day, guys. Thanks very much for having me.
Great to be here and talk, get some expertise on the NRL scene on the show because we don't know a lot, but it's a good time to have you because we've got the NRL continues this weekend and we've got the State of Origin as well, which I'm going to ask you about. But first, you played 309 NRL games. Is that right?
Yeah, 309. Yeah, lucky to do that at the Broncos, the Knights, and the St. George Dragons, where I finished up in 2022. So very lucky to have that sort of career and meet some good people along the way.
You had a long career and a fantastic career. So congratulations on that. But I'm going to ask you some hard-hitting questions now. Well, just one. Your top 5 players that you played with or against or in your era. Can we start from number 5? I hope you've done your homework.
I've done my homework.
Good.
Kept me up there, boys, so which is good. So number 5, Greg Inglis, played for the Melbourne Storm, South Sydney Rabbitohs, but I was lucky enough to play State of Origin with him as well. But what an icon of the game, tremendous Indigenous athlete, and what he did for the game of rugby league.
He was a great athlete, as you said. So looking forward to asking you. You obviously know a lot more about NRL than we do. So can I ask you a little bit about these players and what made them so good? Number 4, mate, who do you have?
Petro Seminasiva, another Brisbane Broncos legend. He was in the middle of front rower, born and raised in Fiji, and he's come over early. But Petro played 30 Origins, 50 Tests for Australia, and not just that. He's a lot of people can vouch for me. He's probably one of the nicest guys in rugby league. I haven't met anyone say a bad word about him. So yeah, he's done tremendous things, not just in Australia, but over in Fiji as well.
Number 4, Petro Seminasiva. Number 3, we're getting into the elite category here with the top 3. Jonathan Thurston, number 3, is that right?
Jonathan Thurston, I think that's, for me, broke the hearts of myself and my fellow Broncos teammates there a couple of times, but overall just what he's done, 30-odd Test Origins, I should say, as well as Tests for Australia, a captain-winning Cowboys grand final, which I was unlucky to be on the receiving end of losing that one. But in terms of bloke off the field, he's done some tremendous things in terms of the public. Another Indigenous athlete who gives a lot of his time up and just represents Queensland so great. So I'd have to have him at number 3.
Number 3. Who's number 2, mate, before we get to number 1?
Darren Lockyer, I think for me, played at the Broncos, Queensland, Australia, 50 Tests for Australia, 30 Origins, and once again captained both Queensland, Australia, the Broncos, all in a winning year. So, and not just that, was lucky enough to play with him for a few years and some pretty memorable moments throughout their career. I was lucky enough to sort of play with him, and as a kid growing up, you never think you get a chance to play with your people you look up to, and I was certainly lucky to do that for a few years. And not just that, he's a ripper guy off the field as well, and certainly loved by guys both on and off the field.
What made him so good, Andrew?
I think he's just his presence. He wasn't a big talker, but he was just actually able to nail those moments you talk about in sport, clutch moments. He was out coming out with the big plays. He wasn't a big guy, certainly very obviously talented and quick, but in terms of big, they tended to target him a fair bit, so he held his own in the defensive line. But just come at the moment, the man always stood up and sealed it for his team, whatever it could be for his club, state, or his country. So, I was very fortunate to see that live and to be actually passing dummy after him and nail some good, field goals and some special games.
Yeah, good. And now you mentioned clutch. I doubt there's any more clutch players than your number 1 here. Who is it, mate?
Yeah, Cam Smith. That's pretty obvious. Just 420 NRL games, 40 Origins, 50 Tests. That's pretty remarkable in itself. You stack those numbers up, the way he played the game and the position he played in the middle. So the amount of work he got through defensively, he's on the ball all the time, playing 80 minutes. It's quite remarkable when you strip that right back and think about what he was able to do for a long period of time. It's pretty remarkable, really. Once again, clutch moments. He was the guy first touching the ball to be actually stem the flow of the game and to play at his pace is such a trait to be able to implement in the game, and he did that for a long period of time. But in the good thing too, boys, they're all Queenslanders. They're my top 5. Look, I could have named a fair few others. obvious admissions. You got Billy Slater, Sam Thaiday, those type of guys who were certainly quite in there that I was lucky enough to play with and against.
No apologies here, mate. Don't need to string the list up.
I love that Tommy walks in and says, I've got some hard-hitting questions for you. He's giving you the easiest question of all time. Who are the guys you love? Who did you love playing with? Maybe next week or week after we'll say the blokes you hated playing against.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. We'll do that next week. I'm just warming him up, mate. It's the first show for him. So very good, mate. That's brilliant. This is maybe the harder part, finding some winners across the weekend in the NRL Round 18. 8 p.m. Friday night it is. Yeah. Bulldogs versus the Broncos, mate. And you're keen to play.
Yeah, I think this game's an interesting one without a lot of their stars from both sides. Look, Broncos starting to warm into the season. The Doggies have been tremendous up to the top of the ladder, 1-2 for most of the season. But in terms of a lot of the stars out, I think it'll be a sort of a low-scoring affair. I think the Broncos can just get that done. I mean, 1-12, and I think the match points will be under 44.5. I know the conditions will be fine, but in terms of playing at that stadium, which I have before, it's pretty greasy. So I think both defensive mindset from both teams will keep that low-scoring affair in a tight one, which I think the Broncos can get that one done.
Very good, Liam. You got some odds for us. Broncos 1-12.
Yeah, 1-12 is $3.80. The Broncos just head-to-head around that 270 mark. So the 1-12 admission there at the 380, and then the under 44.5 points that Andrew likes is around the $1.95 at the moment.
Beautiful, all on Betfair. Now, State of Origin, we have to ask you, you played 4 games. I sense a bit of bias in this tip.
Yeah.
You're with Queensland.
It's pretty easy to pick the Queenslanders there, Tommy. But look, it's going to be a huge ask down there in Sydney Wednesday night against all the odds. Some new players within the Queensland team and some old ones brought back into the team. So, yeah, exciting game. I can't go past the boys getting that done. No one's giving us a chance at great value there. I believe as well at $3.90 the Queenslanders to get that done. So, look, no one expects us to get that done. So we'll see how that goes.
You had to tip Queensland. A bit of bias there, Liam. What's the odds for Wednesday night?
Yeah, well, Andrew mentioned it was $3.90, so they must have come in a fair bit from there because they're into $3.25 at the moment. So it sounds like he stepped in already. Exactly.
Very good. That's Queensland. Andrew, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. We might chat with you Sunday as well ahead of State of Origin again on our layback with Betfair on SEN. Andrew, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers, boys. Have a good one.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.